All right, let's talk about those conversations at work. You know, the tough ones, the high-stakes ones. We're going to break down a really powerful framework so you can stop just reacting and start responding with total confidence.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're in a meeting and suddenly your boss or a client hits you with a question that comes straight out of left field. It's that sudden deer in the headlights moment.
Your mind just blanks. Everyone's looking at you. And that little moment of panic can feel like forever. Our first instinct is usually our worst one. But what if you had a toolkit, a set of moves, to handle these moments with complete control?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to build today. We'll look at why we get caught off guard in the first place. Then I'll introduce you to something I call the art of the swap. We'll see 4 key swaps in action, cover the 2 golden rules for using them, and then wrap up with how you can take back any conversation.
So let's start there. What is actually happening in that split second when you're put on the spot? It's really a battle between 2 completely different ways of communicating.
On one hand, you have the passive reaction. It's impulsive, it's usually defensive, and it's where you totally lose control of the conversation. But on the other hand, you have the active response. This is strategic, it's controlled, and it's how you get back in the driver's seat. Our goal today is to help you make that shift for good.
And the secret to making that shift from being passive to active is a framework built around 4 simple but really powerful maneuvers. Let's call it the art of the swap.
And here they are. This is basically your new cheat sheet. You can swap the frame of the question, you can swap the time you give an answer, you can swap the venue where the conversation happens, or you can even swap your role in the whole discussion. Each one is a specific tool for a specific kind of situation.
Okay, let's dive into this, because theory is one thing, but seeing these swaps play out in the real world, that's where it all clicks. We're going to walk through a scenario for each of the 4 swaps.
First up, change the frame. So imagine you're in a job interview, just like Chris Gardner in the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. He shows up underdressed, right? And the interviewer asks this really loaded question. What would you say if a man walked in here with no shirt on and I hired him?
Just brilliant. Instead of defending himself or apologizing for how he looks, he completely changes the frame. The conversation is no longer about his shirt, it's about the other guy's pants. He dodges the trap, shows how clever he is, and boom, he's back in control. That is the power of a reframe.
Okay, next, let's look at changing the time. Your boss catches you as you're packing up for the day and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about moving you over to the customer service team." A quick yes or no right there is a huge mistake. You're just not prepared to answer that.
This is the strategic swap. You show you understand the topic is important, but you take control of the timeline. You're not ducking the question, you're actually giving it the respect it deserves, and most importantly, you're giving yourself time to think.
You see, this simple sentence completely changes your position. You go from being the passive person getting a surprise request to the active person setting up the next meeting. It makes you look responsible and strategic, all while buying you that crucial time you need to get your thoughts in order.
So let's move on to our third swap, change the venue. Your boss announces in a team meeting, everybody has to work this weekend. Your gut reaction might be to argue about it right then and there, but all that does is create a public fight and put your boss on the defensive. This is the swap. It's a quiet, simple phrase that kicks the can down the road just a little bit. You're not challenging their authority in front of everyone. Instead, you're just signaling, hey, we need to talk about this, but in a private space where you can have a more honest, human conversation.
This works because it shows you understand the huge difference between public and private settings. Publicly, a leader has to represent the company. Privately, they can be a person. This move respects that, stops the whole team's morale from tanking, and actually opens the door to find a real solution.
And finally, we have our most advanced move, change the role. Your boss asks you that classic trap question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your team's performance? Answering this directly is like walking through a minefield. Too high, you sound arrogant. Too low, you sound disloyal. It's a lose-lose.
And here is the swap. You start by validating their question, but then you pivot. You turn from the person being questioned into the person asking the questions. You hand it right back to them. And just like that, you've moved from the hot seat to the facilitator's chair.
Now, these 4 swaps are incredibly powerful, but they only work if you follow 2 absolutely non-negotiable golden rules. This whole thing is about building trust, not just about winning an argument. The first rule is to tell the truth, but not necessarily all of it. Now, let's be super clear. This is not about lying. It's about being strategic. It's knowing which details will move the conversation forward and which ones will just derail it. It's about focusing the conversation constructively.
And that leads right into the second and honestly the most important rule. Never, ever, ever tell a lie. Your credibility is everything. All these clever techniques are worthless if people don't trust you. Your reputation is built on trust, and one lie can destroy it. These swaps are for navigating hard truths, not for inventing convenient fictions.
So let's bring it all home. We've gone from that moment of total panic to a place where you have strategic control. You now have a complete toolkit ready to go.
Just remember these 4 swaps. If you're hit with a tricky question, change the frame. If you feel unprepared, change the time. If the topic is sensitive, change the venue. And if you sense a trap, change the role. This is your playbook for taking back the conversation.
Look, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a practical skill you can start using today. Think about that next big meeting or tough conversation you have coming up. Instead of dreading it, start thinking about how you can use these tools to guide it. So the only question left is, which conversation are you going to own next?